My dear friends, tonight I invite you on a journey of inner transformation, a journey that transcends the noise of the outer world and leads us deep within, to the very source of our power. Carl Jung once reminded us that, who looks outside dreams, who looks inside awakens. It is in this spirit of awakening that I speak to you. The force we call discipline is not a harsh demand, not a punishment, but a profound act of self-love. It is the bridge between who we are and who we are destined to become. For in every moment, we are shaping our reality through thought, through feeling, and through action. Yet without discipline, our dreams remain fragments of imagination, scattered and powerless. Tonight, let us discover how to gather these fragments into focus, how to rise above the pull of old habits, and how to embrace the force of inner discipline as the path to freedom, mastery, and the realization of our highest self. This is not merely a lecture. It is an invitation to reclaim your own creative authority, to see yourself anew, and to step into the life you have long desired. Dear friends, that this force is not an external compulsion, but rather an internal commitment, a deliberate choice to align yourself with your highest ideals and deepest desires. Discipline, in its true sense, is not a constraint, but a liberation. It is the bridge between your current state and your desired state. It is the vehicle that transports you from where you are to where you want to be. And it is through the consistent application of discipline that you become the person capable of living the life you've imagined. Let us begin by understanding the nature of discipline. Discipline is not punishment, nor is it deprivation. It is in essence the art of self-mastery. It is the conscious decision to take control of your thoughts, your actions, and your very being. It is the recognition that you are the operant power in your world, and that through your disciplined imagination and assumption you can shape your reality according to your will. But why must we force ourselves to be disciplined? Because, my dear friends, we are creatures of habit. Our minds left to their own devices will follow the path of least resistance. They will gravitate towards comfort, towards the familiar, even if that familiarity is a state of lack or limitation. To break free from these habitual patterns, to elevate ourselves to new heights of being, we must exert a force, a conscious, deliberate effort to think and act in alignment with our desired state. This force is not violence against the self. It is not a battle or a struggle. Rather, it is a loving commitment to your highest good. It is an act of self-love, of self-respect. When you force yourself to be disciplined, you are saying to yourself, I love you enough to give you the very best. I respect you enough to demand excellence from you. Now let us consider how this discipline manifests in our daily lives. It begins with your thoughts, Eve. Every moment of every day, you are thinking. But how often are you aware of these thoughts? How often do you consciously direct them? This is where discipline of the mind comes into play. Force yourself to be aware of your thoughts. Catch yourself when you're thinking thoughts of lack, of limitation, of fear. These thoughts are not serving your highest good. They are not aligned with the divine being that you truly are. When you catch these thoughts, do not judge them, do not fight against them, simply observe them, and then, with loving discipline, redirect your mind to thoughts that serve you. Imagine the person you wish to be. See yourself living the life you desire. Feel the joy, the fulfillment, the peace that comes with this state. Hold this image in your mind with unwavering focus. This, my dear friends, is mental discipline. It is the conscious direction of your thoughts towards your desired state of being. But discipline of thought is not enough. It must be coupled with discipline of feeling, for it is your feeling that gives life to your thoughts, that impresses them upon your subconscious mind. Force yourself to feel the reality of your imagined state. Feel it with all the intensity you can muster. Feel it as though it were already a fact in the external world. This discipline of feeling is not always easy. There will be times when your current circumstances seem to contradict your desired state. There will be moments when doubt creeps in, when fear threatens to overwhelm you. In these moments, you must force yourself to maintain the feeling of your wish fulfilled. You must discipline your emotional state, choosing to feel joy, abundance, and peace regardless of external conditions. Remember, my dear friends, that your outer world is but a reflection of your inner state, as within so without. Therefore, by discipline your inner world, your thoughts and feelings, you inevitably transform your outer world. This is the power of disciplined imagination and assumption. Now let us consider the discipline of action. For while thought and feeling are powerful, they must be supported by aligned action. Force yourself to act from the state of your wish fulfilled. Behave as the person you wish to be would behave. Make decisions as that person would make them. Speak as that person would speak. This discipline of action requires courage. It demands that you step out of your comfort zone, that you do things that may feel unfamiliar or even frightening. But remember, growth occurs at the edge of your comfort zone. By forcing yourself to act in alignment with your desired state, you are breaking old patterns and creating new ones. You are literally rewiring your brain, creating new neural pathways that support your new way of being. One of the most powerful forms of disciplined action is the spoken word. Force yourself to speak words that align with your desired reality. Eliminate phrases of doubt, of lack, of limitation from your vocabulary. Replace them with words of power, of abundance, of certainty. Speak as though your desire were already fulfilled, for your words are decrees. They are commands to the universal subconscious mind. When you catch yourself speaking words that do not serve your highest good, do not berate yourself. Simply pause. Take a deep breath and consciously choose words that align with your desired state. This discipline of speech will not only impact your own subconscious mind, but will also influence those around you, for the world responds to your words, reflecting back to you the reality you declare. Now, my dear friends, let us delve deeper into the concept of forcing yourself to be disciplined. This force, as I mentioned earlier, is not an external compulsion, it is an internal commitment, a conscious choice to align yourself with your highest ideals. But how do we cultivate this force? How do we strengthen our capacity for discipline? It begs with a clear vision of your desired state. You must know with absolute clarity who you wish to be, what you wish to experience, what you wish to achieve. This vision becomes your North Star, guiding all your thoughts, feelings, and actions. Without this clear vision, discipline becomes aimless, a mere exercise in self-denial without purpose. So force yourself to clarify your vision. Spend time in quiet contemplation, exploring the depths of your desires. What is it that you truly want? Not what society tells you to want, not what others expect of you, but what resonates with the deepest part of your being. This clarity of vision is the foundation of true discipline. Once you have this vision, you must commit to it with every fiber of your being. This commitment is the source of the force that drives your discipline. It is the wellspring from which you draw strength when faced with challenges or setbacks. Force yourself to recommit to your vision daily. Make it a sacred practice, a ritual that reinforces your dedication to your desired state. This commitment, this force, manifests as a series of choices. Every moment of every day, you are making choices. You choose what to think, how to feel, how to act. Discipline is the art of consistently making choices that align with your vision, even when it's difficult, even when it's uncomfortable. Force yourself to be aware of these choices. Catch yourself in the moment of decision. Are you choosing thoughts that support your vision or undermine it? Are you choosing feelings that elevate you or diminish you? Are you choosing actions that move you towards your goal or away from it? This awareness, this constant vigilance, is a crucial aspect of discipline. But discipline is not about perfection. It's not about never making a mistake or never falling short. True discipline includes the ability to forgive yourself, to pick yourself up when you fall, to recommit to your vision even after a setback. Force yourself to be compassionate with yourself. Treat yourself with the same kindness and understanding that you would offer a dear friend. Remember, my dear friends, that you are engaging in a process of transformation. You are literally remaking yourself, recreating yourself in the image of your highest ideals. This process takes time. It requires patience, persistence, and above all, discipline. Force yourself to be patient with this process. Understand that change doesn't happen overnight. Your current state, your current habits of thought and feeling and action were not formed in a day. They are the result of years of repetition of unconscious patterns. To change these patterns requires time and consistent effort. But do not let this discourage you. For every moment of disciplined thought, every instance of aligned feeling, every act of committed behavior is a step towards your desired state. Each choice, no matter how small it may seem, is a break in the foundation of your new reality. Now let us consider the role of imagination in this process of disciplined transformation. Your imagination, my dear friends, is the workshop wherein you fashion the template of your life. It is through your imagination that you can enter into the state of your wish fulfilled, experiencing now what you desire to experience in the future. Force yourself to use your imagination deliberately, consciously. Set aside time each day to enter into your imaginal scene. See yourself as you wish to be. Feel the joy, the satisfaction, the fulfillment your desire already accomplished. Make this imaginal act so vivid, so real that it feels more present, more tangible than your current physical reality. This disciplined use of imagination is not mere daydreaming or fantasy. It is a powerful creative act. for your subconscious mind does not distinguish between what you vividly imagine and what you actually experience in the physical world. Therefore, as you persist in your imaging, now act. As you discipline yourself to maintain the feeling of your wish focus, you impress this new state upon your subconscious mind. And once impressed, your subconscious mind must express this new state in your outer world. For that is the law of your being. Your outer world must conform to your inner assumptions. It has no choice in the matter. This is the power of disciplined imagination. But imagination alone is not enough. It must be coupled with faith. You must force yourself to believe in the reality of your imaginal act. This faith is not blind optimism or wishful thinking. It is a deep, unshakable knowing that what you have imagined must come to pass. This faith, my dear friends, is itself a form of discipline, for there will be times when your senses deny the reality of your imaginal act. There will be moments when your current circumstances seem to contradict your assumed state. In these moments, you must force yourself to maintain your faith. You must discipline your mind to reject the evidence of your senses and hold fast to the truth of your imagination. Remember, the physical world is but a shadow, a reflection of your inner state. It is not the cause but the effect. Therefore, no matter what your current circumstances may be, hold fast to your imagined state. For as you do so, as you discipline yourself to maintain your assumption despite all evidence to the contrary, you set in motion the forces that will inevitably bring your assumption into physical reality. Now let us consider the practical application of this disciplined approach to life. How do we force ourselves to be disciplined in our daily lives? It begins with structure. Create a daily routine that supports your vision. Set specific times for your imaginal work, for your affirmations, for actions that align with your desired state. Force yourself to stick to this routine, especially when you don't feel like it. For it is in these moments of resistance that the true power of discipline is revealed. It is easy to take inspired action when you're feeling motivated. The real test of discipline comes when you're tired, when you're discouraged, when you'd rather take the easy path. In these moments, remind yourself of your commitment. Reconnect with your vision. Force yourself to take that next step, to do that next task, to maintain that next thought, even when every fiber of your being resists. For it is through this consistent, disciplined action that you build momentum, that you create new habits, that you literally become the person capable of living your desired reality. But discipline is not all hard work and serious focus. It also includes the discipline of joy, of play, of relaxation. Force yourself to find joy in the process of transformation. Discipline yourself to celebrate every small victory, every step forward, no matter how tiny it may seem. For joy is not just the result of achieving your goals, it is the fuel that powers your journey. When you approach your discipline with joy, with a sense of playful exploration, you tap into a wellspring of energy that makes the process not just best bearable, but enjoyable. Force yourself to take time for rest and rejuvenation. Discipline yourself to care for your physical body, your emotional well-being, your spiritual connection. For you are not separate from your body, from your emotions, from your spirit. You are a unified whole, and true discipline honors all aspects of your being. Now, my dear friends, let us address a common misconception about discipline. Many believe that discipline is about rigid control, about forcing yourself to do things you don't want to do. But true discipline, the kind of discipline we're discussing tonight, is about aligning yourself with your deepest desires, with your highest good. When you force yourself to be disciplined in the way we've discussed, you're not going against your true nature, you're aligning with it, you're becoming more of who you truly are. You're allowing your divine nature to express itself more fully through you. This understanding transforms discipline from a burden into a joy. It becomes not something you have to do, but something you get to do. It becomes an expression of self-love, of self-respect, of honoring the divine being that you truly are. So force yourself to see discipline in this new light. Discipline yourself to approach your practice with joy, with excitement, with a sense of reverence for the creative power you're wielding. For in truth, this disciplined use of your imagination, this consistent alignment of your thoughts, feelings, and actions with your desired state is the highest form of prayer. It is a declaration to the universe of who you truly are. It is a command to your subconscious mind to express your divine nature more fully. It is an act of co-creation with the infinite intelligence that pervades all of existence. As you continue on this path of disciplined transformation, you will find that it becomes easier, more natural. What once required conscious effort becomes your default state of being. Your disciplined thoughts become habitual. Your assumed feelings become your natural emotional state. Your aligned actions become automatic. But do not let this fool you into complacency. Continue to force yourself to grow, to expand, to reach for even higher states of being. For there is no limit to what you can become, to what you can achieve, to what you can experience. The only limits are those you impose upon yourself through your own thoughts and assumptions. So discipline yourself to continually expand your vision. Force yourself to imagine even greater possibilities for yourself and for humanity. For as you elevate yourself, you elevate all of creation. As you discipline yourself to express more of your divine nature, you contribute to evolution of human consciousness. Remember, my dear friends, that you are not alone in this journey. The entire universe is supporting you, conspiring to bring your assumptions into reality. Trust in this support. Have faith in the perfect working of the law. Discipline yourself to maintain this trust, this faith, even when appearances suggest otherwise. For in truth, there is no otherwise. There is only your assumption, your disciplined imagination, and its inevitable expression in the physical world. Everything else is illusion, shadow, temporary appearance. Hold fast to the truth of your being, to the reality of your assumed state, and watch as the world reshapes itself to match your assumption. As we near the end of our time together tonight, I want to leave you with this final thought. The discipline we've discussed is not a destination, but a journey. It is not something you achieve once and for all, but a continual process of growth, of expansion, of becoming. So force yourself to embrace this journey. Discipline yourself to find joy in the process, to celebrate each step along the way. For it is through this journey that you discover the true extent of your power, the limitless nature of your being. Go forth from this place tonight with a renewed commitment to discipline. Force yourself to maintain the state of your wish for fulfilled. Discipline your thoughts to dwell only on what you want to experience. Control your emotions to feel only the satisfaction of your desire accomplished. Direct your actions to align with the person you wish to be. Do this not from a place of lack or need, but from a place of power, of certainty, of knowing. For you are divine beings, creators of your reality. The discipline we've discussed tonight is simply the means by which you consciously direct this creative power. And know that as you do so, as you force yourself to be disciplined in your assumptions, in your imagination, in your faith, you are fulfilling the grandest purpose of all. You are allowing the divine to express more fully through you. You are becoming a clearer channel for infinite intelligence to enter this world. So shine bright, my dear friends. Shine with all the radiance of your disciplined imagination, your controlled emotions, your aligned actions. Shine so brightly that others cannot help but be illuminated by your light. For in doing so, you not only transform your own life, but you contribute to the transformation of the entire world. Remember, the power is within you. The kingdom of heaven is at hand. It is closer than your breath, nearer than your heartbeat. It is not something to be attained, but something to be realized, to be expressed, to be lived. And it is through the force of discipline that you bring this realization into your conscious experience. As you leave here tonight, carry this truth with you. Let it be your guiding light, your constant companion. Let it inform every aspect of your being, your thoughts, your feelings, your actions. For as you do so, you will find that life becomes a joyous adventure, a grand exploration of your infinite potential. And so, my dear friends, I bid you good night. But know that this is not an ending, but a beginning of a new life, a new way of being, a life of conscious creation, of deliberate manifestation, of disciplined self-expression. Go forth and create miracles. Go forth and live the life you have always dreamed of. Go forth and be the divine beings that you truly are, for in doing so, you fulfill your highest purpose. You express your truest nature and you bring heaven to earth. Good night, my dear friends, and may your journey of discipline and self-realization be filled with joy, wonder, and endless discovery, for you are the makers of your destiny, the authors of your story, the creators of your reality. Embrace this power, use it wisely, and watch as your life transforms in ways you never thought possible. Remember, it all begins with you. With your disciplined imagination, your controlled emotions, your aligned actions. Master these and you master your world. For in truth, there is no world out there independent of your consciousness. It all exists within you, waiting to be called forth by your creative power. So call forth a world of beauty, of love, of abundance. Call forth a reality that reflects your highest vision of yourself and of humanity. For as you do so, you participate in the greatest act of creation possible, the conscious evolution of human consciousness. And with that, my dear friends, I leave you to your own divine exploration. May your imagination be vivid, your faith unshakable, your discipline unwavering, and your manifestations miraculous. For this is your true nature, your divine birthright. Good night and God bless you all. Let me share with you exactly what happens during these 3 days of transformed self-talk. The first day is often the most challenging for you, going against every evidence of your senses. Your physical reality will still show you the old conditions, and your habitual self-talk will attempt to reassert itself. This is where most people fail. They allow what they see to dictate what they say to themselves. But I tell you this, your current circumstances are nothing more than your previous self-talk made visible in the book of Hebrews. It is written through faith. We understand that the worlds were framed by the word of God, so that things which are seen were not made of things which do appear. Your self-talk is this very word of God that frames your world. Let me share with you the experience of a man who came to me seeking to transform his professional life. He had been stuck in a low-paid position for years, and his self-talk reflected this. I'm not qualified enough. Better opportunities are for others. I instructed him in this 3-day technique of self-talk. For the first day, he was to speak to himself in a very specific way, not just arbitrary positive statements, but precise words that implied his desire was already fulfilled. When he looked in the mirror while dressing for work, instead of his habitual self-talk about another dreary day, he would say, I love being executive vice president. My decisions create tremendous value for the company. My leadership inspires others. Throughout that first day, whenever his mind wandered to his current circumstances, he would gently bring it back by speaking to himself from the end. I'm so grateful for my executive position. I handle these responsibilities with such ease. My contributions are highly valued and generously rewarded. The second day brings a subtle shift. Your new self-talk begins to feel more natural, less forced. This is a crucial point where many lose their way, thinking the technique isn't working because it's becoming effortless. But this very naturalness is the signal that your new self-talk is taking root in consciousness. During the second day, your self-talk should focus not just on statements of fact, but on the natural conversations you would have with yourself from your desired state. If you're manifesting perfect health, you don't need to constantly affirm, I am healthy. Instead, your self-talk might be, I love how easily I climb these stairs. This fresh energy feels wonderful. I enjoy choosing nutritious foods for my vibrant body. I recall a woman who was manifesting her ideal marriage. During her second date, she didn't just affirm, I am happily married. Her self-talk became the natural internal dialogue of a beloved wife. I love preparing our favorite dinner. Our evening walks together are so completely. It's wonderful sharing my life with someone who understands me so completely. The third day is where the magic truly unfolds. But it's also where many stumble because they are looking for external results. Remember, in the book of Genesis, God did not pause after each day of creation to check if it was working. The work was done in consciousness through the word, and the manifestation followed naturally. On this third day, your self-talk must be maintained with complete indifference to external circumstances. If you're manifesting financial abundance and you check your bank account to find it unchanged, your self-talk must remain steady. I love how money flows to me from expected and unexpected sources. I enjoy choosing the finest things in life. It's wonderful having more than enough to share generously. Let me reveal to you something profound about these 3 days. They correspond to 3 states of consciousness: initiation, transition, and acceptance. Your self-talk must reflect and support each state. The first day initiates the new concept. The second day bridges the new state as something. A businessman once asked me why his previous attempts at positive self-talk had failed. Upon examination, I discovered he was changing his words, but not his state of consciousness. He would say, I am successful, while internally arguing with the statement. I taught him that true self-talk isn't about the words alone. It's about speaking from the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. Now let me share with you the exact structure of self-talk that creates the most rapid transformation during these 3 days. Many attempt to change their lives through haphazard positive statements, but there is a specific pattern, a divine order to effective self-talk that most never discover. This pattern is revealed in Scripture, where it states, "Let there be, and there was, and God saw that it was good." This is your template for powerful self-talk during these 3 days. First, you declare what is to be. Then you acknowledge it as already existing. Finally, you express gratitude for its perfection. I want to give you a living example. A young doctor came to me frustrated with his practice. His self-talk was filled with anxiety about patients, concerns about income, and doubts about his abilities. For 3 days, I instructed him to transform his self-talk following this divine pattern. Upon waking the first morning, his self-talk began. My practice is thriving. Patients seek me out for my exceptional care. I am known for my remarkable results. Throughout the day, whenever his old patterns of anxious self-talk attempted to surface, he would immediately shift to, I love how smoothly my practice runs. Every patient interaction is satisfying and successful. My expertise brings healing to all who come to me. But here's the crucial point about your self-talk during these 3 days. It must be specific to your own desires and natural to your own way of speaking. Don't copy another's words. Your self-talk must feel like you must flow naturally from your own consciousness, must be in your own voice. In the Psalms it is written, "Deep calleth unto deep." Your self-talk must come from the depths of your being, not from the surface of your mind. When you speak to yourself during these 3 days, let the words rise from the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. Consider a teacher who came to me desiring to become a successful author. Her self-talk had been filled with doubt. Who would read my book? I'm not a real writer and I'll never finish this manuscript. I showed her how to structure her self-talk for the 3-day transformation. Instead of general affirmations about being a successful author, her self-talk became specific and natural. I love how readers connect with my stories. It's wonderful seeing my books in major bookstores. I enjoy signing copies for my devoted readers. These weren't just positive statements. They were the natural thoughts and words of someone already living her desired reality. Here's another vital aspect of the 3-day transformations. On that few understand, your self-talk must encompass all 3 time frames, morning, day, and night, but in a specific way. Your morning self-talk sets the tone for the day and must be done before engaging with the world. Your daytime self-talk maintains the state. Your nighttime self-talk maintains the subconscious mind for manifestation. Let me share with you the exact method for nighttime self-talk that produces the most powerful results. As you prepare for sleep, your self-talk should take the form of grateful reflection. What a wonderful day in my thriving practice. I love how easily everything flows. Tomorrow brings even more opportunities to serve and succeed. This nighttime pattern of self-talk is crucial because it's your last conscious impression before entering the sleep state. In scripture it says, "In a dream, in a vision of the night, when deep sleep falleth upon men, in slumberings upon the bed, then he openeth the ears of men and sealeth their instruction." Your nighttime self-talk is this very instruction being sealed in consciousness. A businessman who mastered this technique shared with me his experience. For 3 days, he maintained the most rigorous attention to his self-talk, especially during the drowsy state before sleep. His inner dialogue was consistently from the state of already being a successful entrepreneur. My business generates tremendous value. I love leading my team to greater achievements. Every decision I make creates positive results. By the 3rd morning, before any physical evidence appeared, he knew with absolute certainty that his world had shifted. His self-talk had transformed from effort to natural expression of his new state. When opportunities suddenly appeared that transformed his business, he recognized them as the inevitable manifestation of his 3 days of transformed self-talk. But here's something crucial about the 3-day transformation that most miss. You must maintain your new self-talk even when circumstances seem to contradict it. In fact, contrary circumstances often appear during these 3 days as a test of your resolve. This is where most people falter, allowing external evidence to destruct their self-talk. Your self-talk must not only change in content, but in consciousness. The words themselves are merely the surface. It's the state from which they emanate that holds the true creative power. In the book of Matthew, it states, "Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaketh." Your self-talk during these 3 days must flow from the heart, the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. This is why mechanical repetition of positive phrases fails to produce results. The words must be spoken from the consciousness of already being what you desire to be. I knew a woman who struggled with this principle until she grasped its essence. She desired to be a successful artist, but had never sold a painting. Her initial attempt at self-talk was mechanical. "I am a successful artist. My paintings sell easily." But there was no transformation because she was speaking from her current state of lack. I taught her to first assume the consciousness of a successful artist, then let her self-talk flow naturally from that state. Her internal dialogue transformed. I love how collectors respond to my work. It's wonderful having my paintings in prestigious galleries. I enjoy deciding which exhibitions to participate in next. During these 3 days, your self-talk must reflect 3 levels of consciousness: being, having, and experiencing. Most people focus only on having, which is why their manifestations are temporary or never appear. Your self-talk must encompass all 3. Let me illustrate this principle. A man came to me desiring financial abundance. His self-talk had been focused entirely on having money. I have unlimited wealth. I showed him how to structure his self-talk to include all 3. Levels being, I am financially wise. I am a masterful creator of wealth, I have abundant resources. I have multiple streams of income experiencing. I love choosing the finest experiences in life. I enjoy sharing my abundance generously. This 3-level self-talk must be maintained consistently throughout the 3 days. Upon waking, your first thoughts should naturally flow from this expanded consciousness. Throughout the day, your internal dialogue should reflect all 3 levels. Before sleep, your final thoughts should encompass this complete state. Here's another crucial aspect of the 3-day transformation. Your self-talk must be in harmony with the law of assumption. In Scripture it states, "All things whatsoever ye pray and ask for, believe that ye have received them, and ye shall have them." Your self-talk must come from the consciousness of already having received. Consider a man who wanted to transform his relationships. His habitual self-talk had been, I am always alone. Nobody understands me. I'll never find true love. For 3 days I instructed him to speak from the consciousness of already being in perfect relationships. I love how easily I connect with others. Every interaction enriches my life. My relationships are deep and meaningful. I attract exactly the right people into my life. My presence brings joy to others. I am surrounded by love and understanding. But here's the vital point. These words weren't chosen randomly. They flowed naturally from his assumed state of being someone who enjoys wonderful relationships. This is why your self-talk during these 3 days cannot be scripted by another. It must be the natural expression of your assumed state. Let me share with you the exact pattern of self-talk for each of the 3 days. The first day, your self-talk establishes the new state. I am now the person I desire to be. The second day, your self-talk normalizes the state. This is my natural way of being. The third day, your self-talk expresses gratitude for the state. How wonderful to be living this reality. A woman who applied this pattern to transform her health shared her experience with me. A first-day self-talk established her new state. I am radiantly healthy. Every cell in my body vibrates with vitality. Perfect health is my natural state. His second day normalized this state. I love how easily I maintain perfect balance and feel exhausted. I refuse. I feel grateful to God. I feel grateful to God. My body knows exactly how to maintain perfect balance. I feel grateful to God. I feel I state she transformed her body ever since then. I doubtful myself as a professional, but I'm mentally on the third day. Her self-talk expressed gratitude for her state. I'm so grateful for my perfect health. It's wonderful having this abundant energy. I appreciate how my body maintains perfect wellness effortlessly. By the end of the third day, she no longer needed to monitor her self-talk. It flowed naturally from her new state of consciousness. Now, let me reveal to you the culminating secret of this 3-day transformation through self-talk. The completion of these 3 days is not marked by external changes, but by an internal shift so profound that you no longer need to monitor your self-talk because it naturally flows from your new state of consciousness. In Ecclesiastes, it is written to everything, there is a season and a time to every purpose under heaven. These 3 days represent the season of transformation, but they must be followed by something most people neglect, the Sabbath of rest. After 3 days of conscious self-talk, you must rest in the conviction that the work is done. A remarkable example of this principle was demonstrated by a man who had struggled with poverty consciousness for decades. For 3 days, he maintained the most exquisite attention to his self-talk. Every word that passed through his mind reflected the consciousness of wealth. I am the embodiment of abundance. I live in the endless stream of prosperity. By the end of the third day, something profound had shifted. He no longer needed to remind himself to speak from wealth consciousness. It had become his natural state. His self-talk flowed effortlessly from this new consciousness. Which of my investments shall I explore today? How can I best utilize these abundant resources? What wonderful opportunities shall I explore next? This is the true test of successful transformation, when your self-talk no longer requires effort or monitoring because it naturally reflects your new state of consciousness. Just as you don't need to remind yourself to speak as who you are now, your new self-talk becomes the natural expression of who you have become. Let me share with you the final key to maintaining this transformation beyond the 3 days. Your self-talk must now become what I call your natural assumption. When you pick up a telephone, you naturally assume it will work. When you sit in a chair, you naturally assume it will hold you. Your new state must be maintained with this same natural assumption. Consider carefully what I tell you now. After these 3 days, if you find yourself slipping back into old patterns of self-talk, do not fight them. Instead, gently remind yourself that was the old man speaking. I have crossed the bridge to my new state. Then resume your natural self-talk from your desired state. Remember the words in Scripture. Put off the old man with his deeds and put on the new man. Your transformed self-talk is the language of this new man. It is not something you do. It is something you become. The 3 days are merely the gestation period for this new birth. Let me conclude with this vital truth. Your self-talk is not just words. It is the very substance of your world taking form. Every word you speak to yourself is a seed planted in the fertile soil of consciousness. These 3 days of transformed self-talk are your concentrated period of planting, but the harvest will continue indefinitely if you maintain the state. The power to transform your entire life lies in your self-talk, but not in the superficial way most people understand. It is not about forcing positive thoughts or fighting negative ones. It is about speaking from the consciousness of already being who you desire to be. 3 days of consistent conscious self-talk from this new state will transform your world. I leave you with this challenge. Begin your 3 days now. Not tomorrow, not when circumstances are better, but now speak to yourself from the consciousness of your wish fulfilled. Maintain this new self-talk for 3 consecutive days. Watch as your world transform to match your words. For it is written, death and life are in the power of the tongue. Your self-talk is this very power. Use it wisely, use it consistently, and use it now. The next 3 days can transform your entire life if you will, but speak to yourself from the consciousness of already being who you desire to be. The choice is yours, and the time is now. Your 3 days of transformation await. Begin this very moment to speak to yourself as the person you desire to be, and watch as your world reshapes itself to match your words. For this is the law, and this is the promise, and this is the power that has been given to you. Use it, prove it, and live it. The word is in your mouth and in your heart, ready to be spoken. Speak it now. Speak it with conviction and speak it from the consciousness of fulfillment. Your 3-day journey to transformation begins with the very next words you speak to yourself. Make them count, make them powerful, and make them the truth you desire to experience. Where I speak of focusing on you, I am not speaking of the outer personality that the world recognizes. No, I speak of the true self, that divine imaginative center which H is God in action. I am is the name of God, and when you declare I am, you are invoking the created power of the universe. So, when I ask you to focus on you until you win, I am directing you to the recognition of your divine nature, which is limitless in its capacity to create. Let me share with you a profound secret. The world you experience is nothing more than your consciousness objectified. Everything that surrounds you at this very moment, your circumstances, your relationships, your physical environment, all of it has been projected from within you. Nothing comes from without. All proceeds from within. Therefore, to change your world, you must first change your conception of yourself. This is the essence of what it means to focus on you. Most people live their entire lives never recognizing this fundamental truth. They attribute their successes and failures to external causes, to other people, to economic conditions, to chance, to anything and everything but themselves. They fail to realize that they are the architects of their own destiny, that their imagination is the magic wand of creation. But you, having heard this message tonight, can no longer claim ignorance of this law. You now stand at the threshold of a new understanding, a new way of being in the world. Consider for a moment how you have been focusing until now. Have you been concentrating on what you lack, on your limitations, on the obstacles that appear to stand in your way? If so, you have been perpetuating these very conditions in your life. For whatever dominates your mental focus will inevitably manifest in your experience. This is not a punishment, but simply the impersonal working of law. Like attracts like, and your consciousness attracts its own. To focus on you until you win means to persistently hold in your imagination the ideal conception of yourself, not as you appear to be now, but as you desire to be. It means to dwell mentally in the end in the fulfilled state of your desire, feeling the naturalness of it, the reality of it until this state displaces your former conception and becomes your dominant feeling. Let me illustrate this principle with a simple exercise. Close your eyes for a moment and imagine yourself as having already attained your heart's desire. Whatever it may be, perfect health, financial abundance, a loving relationship, professional success, see yourself now in possession of it. Feel the satisfaction, the joy, the gratitude that would be yours if this desire were already fulfilled. Make this scene as vivid and as real as possible. Involve all your senses. It's a beautiful home you desire. Feel yourself moving through its rooms, touching its surfaces, hearing the sounds within it. If it's perfect health, feel the vitality coursing through your body, the ease of movement, the absence of pain. Now, the secret is to persist in this feeling, this consciousness of fulfillment, regardless of any contradictory evidence presented by your senses. For your senses can only report the effects of past beliefs. They cannot detect the invisible causes now at work through your changed consciousness. This is why Scripture tells us, judge not according to appearances, but judge righteous judgment. To judge righteously means to be faithful to your assumption, to your new conception of yourself, despite what present facts may suggest. This is the true meaning of faith, not a blind belief in some external power, but an unwavering loyalty to your own divine imagination. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Your imagination gives substance to your hopes by clothing them in the reality of feeling. And when you feel the reality of your desire fulfilled, you have the evidence, though it remains as yet unseen by mortal eyes. The great mistake made by so many is that they focus on the processes, the channels through which their good might come rather than on the state of consciousness they wish to attain. They ask how when they should be declaring what the how is not your concern. It belongs to that infinite intelligence which knows all and can accomplish all. Your task is simply to determine what the state of consciousness you wish to occupy it, and then to occupy it faithfully in your imagination. People often ask me, "But Neville, how long must I persist? How will I know when my assumption has been accepted by my subconscious?" And I tell them this: the feeling of naturalness is the criterion. When your desired state feels more natural to you than your former state, when you can dwell in it without effort or strain, when it no longer seems like a wish, but simply the way things are, then you may know that your assumption has been impressed upon the subconscious and must inevitably objectify itself in your world. Remember, the time it takes for your assumption to become an objective fact depends on the naturalness of your feeling and the intensity of your concentration. Some desires manifest instantly, while others require a period of gestation. But do not be concerned with time. Time is merely a perception in the world of effects. It has no reality in the world of causes, which is the world of your consciousness. 1,000 years in thy sight are but as yesterday when it is past, and as a watch in the night. To focus on you until you win means to be persistent in your assumption. It means to live mentally in your desired state day after day, night after night, until the feeling of wish fulfilled becomes your predominant mood. This is not a matter of willpower or struggle. It is a matter of attention and feeling. Where your attention goes, your energy flows. And what you energize with feeling must become concrete reality. Consider the biblical story of Jacob wrestling with the angel. "I will not let thee go except thou bless me," declared Jacob. This is the attitude you must adopt toward your assumption. You must cling to it tenaciously, refusing to relinquish it until it blesses you with its manifestation. This is not stubborn defiance of present facts, but rather faithful adherence to a higher reality, the reality of your imagination. Now, let me clarify something of great importance. When I speak of focusing on you, I am not advocating selfishness in the ordinary sense. The you of which I speak is not the personal ego with its petty desires and vanities. It is the divine self which is one with all of humanity. And when you elevate your consciousness, when you assume the feeling of your wish fulfilled, you elevate all of humanity with you. For we are all connected. We are all one in consciousness. I am in my Father, and ye in me, and I in you. The greatest service you can render to others is to assume the feeling of your own fulfilled desires. For in doing so, you contribute to the fulfillment of the divine plan, which is the awakening of God in man. You cannot truly help another while you yourself remain in a state of lack or limitation. Only by first attaining your own fulfillment can you become a true channel for the fulfillment of others. I recall a lady who attended my lecture some years ago. She was deeply concerned about her son, who had fallen into bad company and was engaging in destructive behaviors. She had tried everything to reform him, reasoning, pleading, threatening, all to no avail. I instructed her to cease her efforts to change her son's outer conduct and instead to change her conception of him. I told her to imagine just before falling asleep at night that her son was telling her of his happiness, his well-being, his constructive activities. She was to hear his voice clearly, feel the joy of this conversation, and then fall asleep in this happy state. She followed this instruction faithfully for several weeks. At first, nothing seemed to change. Her son continued in his old ways, perhaps then becoming temporarily worse, but she persisted in her assumption, refusing to be discouraged by appearances, and then one day, without any direct